Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Shauna. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. As you know, we've been going into the periodic table. We've been having this discussion. And before we continue through this, series, I have another message. I have something that the Most High has showed me, and he told me he wanted to have this conversation on the podcast, right? I think yesterday there was a janaza for 5 young women who were killed in a car crash. They were getting ready to go to a wedding. There's a lot of different reasons that it's making sense why the Most High will want me to talk about this, but a lot of things are sticking out to me. As far as, things manifesting down and spiritual warfare and cycles being opened and closed and just destinies and fate and okay, right? So let's get into this. First of all, the number 5, if you are into spirituality, if you are into anything, then you would know, right, that 5 means change. 5 is very important and instrumental when the universe is trying to send a message towards you that some changes are coming, right? So that was the first thing I noticed, right? Like immediately. But before I even realized about the number, I said, when things like this happen, it brings people together. It brings, and we talked about shared experience a little bit, on the podcast, and how people share these traumatic experiences, or just memories, right? They share these experiences in life, and it brings them together. And sometimes the bond within itself is traumatic, but it can also be healing as time goes on, right? This is a real thing in psychology. It's actually called shared experience, right? So no, without a doubt, right? These 5 families are now going to be brought together, and I'm outside. So we're doing this thing live because I started recording a little bit after 8. So I said, okay, let's just go ahead and go live. So whatever mistakes I have made so far, or probably will make within the next few minutes, are just gonna have to go record it, and I'm not gonna re-record it because I want to kind of try to do this on time, right? I'm outside. We're actually, hold up, I think we already had our first day of summer yesterday, right? So it's summertime. The kids, their last day of school is tomorrow. So as I'm going to be recording outside, you're going to hear more background noises of children and all of that crazy stuff, right? It's a part of nature. We love the nature sounds, and kids are definitely a big piece of that, right? Now, let's get back to the story. If you look it up, there were 5 women who were killed in a car crash. One person had caused this car crash, and 5 women ended up dying in Indianapolis. Now, like I said, there were several different moving parts. Now, think about how things happen in dimensions other than this one, right? Higher dimensions, and they manifest down, right? So now this can be good and bad. This can be the works of people doing evil, as far as manipulating energies, doing witchcraft, setting up altars, sending death spells, sending spirits of confusion and fear, etc., right? And then on the other spectrum of that, you have destiny happening, right? The way the Creator said it is supposed to happen. Now, whether this is something that was manipulated by man, or something orchestrated by the spirit world, or just definitely what the Creator said is supposed to happen, either way, it was permissible and it was allowed by God, right? Let's make sure we keep that in mind. A lot of people, when it comes to warfare, they assume that, things are harder harder or easier than they truly are, but they just are, and we make them whatever they are, right? We to these things. I'm sorry, my phone is probably going to ring a few times in the midst of this recording, so just like, I'm sorry if I'm cutting in and out, but in reality, the overall premise of this thing is to really pay attention to how things are played out. Now, this could also be karma, right? Someone doing something, and like I said, this could be setting up altars or just being evil and having your hands, your heart, your mind, and your feet in evil deeds, right? How about the karma that was supposed to go to the person doing the evil deeds went to the people that they love? And this happens quite often, okay? This happens more than often, actually. So I just wanted to make sure, before we went into any more details, we realize that just because something is looking like something, that's not what it is all the time. Okay? I'm in Newark, so alright, this is what's going on. But now, what I also paid attention to is how this shared experience, first of all, keeps coming up, and then also how it has allowed us to look at things from the lens of someone else. We are empathetic. It has allowed us to be more heartfelt and more patient and more kind, more understanding, and just willing to put in the extra effort into building unity, into building bridges and closing gaps, right? Most of the time, we allow ourselves to go through so many different, things, and we really don't pay attention to how things lead up to that. Now, another thing that I wanted to look at is the wedding, right? Wedding is obviously a marriage, okay? Marriage is probably the most sacred thing to the Creator outside of the relationship that you have with Him, right? It's love. It's an expression of the highest level of love, right? So as I'm reading, I realized that these people were on their way to a wedding. So now think about it. These people were going to celebrate love. Now, is this accident going to stop the wedding? Postpone it? Or is it going to encourage it even further? Is this going to give people a reason to say, see, this is why we need to love even more, right? So this can go either way, and I think that was the whole purpose, because these people died behind this wedding. So again, not behind it, but they were going somewhere. They had a destination. They were going to the wedding, and they died on the way. So obviously the wedding was not going to happen that day, right? So was this the Creator's way of saying that the wedding was not supposed to happen at all? That it should not happen now? Or, right? Let's follow me. This is a traumatic experience that the Creator has allowed to happen, which means He is demanding the attention of every party involved, especially the people that are involved in a wedding, not just the bride and the groom, but everybody. The bridesmaid, the best man, the ring bearer, the flower girl, all of the guests. This is Allah speaking in so many ways, and I'm saying Allah because they were Muslim, right? The janazah was yesterday, and a bunch of people from all over who didn't even know these people came to the janazah. So again, that's another piece, or perspective to this scenario. So now we have the possibility of this manifesting down as the result of karma. This is absolutely the fate, whether it was orchestrated by the spirit world or by, mankind, as in people doing death magic or, just tripping people up. We have the creator exposing this shared experience. We have a wedding coming to a halt and having to determine if this is God's way of saying this wedding absolutely needs to happen because so many people have passed away and they were sacrificed, or it absolutely does not need to happen. And this was probably one of the greatest signs that it doesn't. Right? That's just some pieces. And then we have the people from all over who are complete strangers coming to support. So these are many moving parts and things to observe, for this situation. And this absolutely has everything to do with spiritual warfare, because whether it was karma or the result of someone's magic, either way, it is the work of the creator making things fall into a certain place. And this is how they manifested. And many lives have been affected by this. Even the person, and this is yet another factor or layer, I would say, to this story. The person who caused the crash, the person who caused the crash, their life too has been forever changed. They too are connected to these lives. So now, what the whole thing that I was getting at initially, before we even looked at the different layers and perspectives and pieces, right? The overall thing that I was seeing was that somewhere in the spirit world, all of the ancestors of those people, which by the way can be our ancestors as well. We don't know how well we are connected to people or how deeply. All of those people have ancestors that are connected already up there. And this is why it manifests down in this manner, as in, okay, I may not know this person, I may have never known them, but now I have met them because of this situation. Okay? And people cross paths all the time, but when things like this happen, you tend to get a little more intimate. You tend to, kind of meet strangers and, relate to them more and tend to stay in touch a little more. Okay? So, before I go, I just want to say, please look up the story and tell me if you think it's possible that the ancestors of these people have orchestrated this accident as a result of karma, because someone did something that they should not have done and their loved ones got caught in the crossfire. Or do you think this is something that the Most High had fated and has nothing to do with magic or karma? And what do you think any of this really, really means as far as the spirit world is concerned, like overall? You have to look at these things. This is not natural. 5 people dying in one accident. I mean, there's a reason for that. We may never know the actual reason, but there is a reason, right? So I just wanted to say that I really do love you guys. I really hope y'all are taking care of yourselves, getting your rest, and knowing what it is that y'all need to do for yourselves. Drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, sipping on your tea. Alright? I do wish y'all the best. Tomorrow's the last day. Going to be giving y'all some times for the tutoring and some locations and some contact information. And yeah, I hope all is well. And I love y'all. All right, y'all. Peace.